Okay, we are on pages 11 and 12. And this video may be broken up into two parts. We'll see how quickly we go. This video is the intention for you to solve all the problems first and then play the video when you're ready to check your answers. So if you have not completed these pages yet, please stop the video, go and complete the pages to the best of your ability, and then play the video when you're ready to check your answers. You, of course, can work with your peers on this first and then check your answers together. Okay, so let's go through this. This video will provide the answers, and anything that you didn't understand or that you got wrong, just go ahead and fix. Number 12 reads, atoms normally have an electric charge of 0. Certain conditions, such as static, can cause atoms to have a positive or a negative charge. Atoms with a positive or negative charge are called ions. And then there's some questions that go along with that, so I'm going to move them up so we can see them. Question A reads, which ions have a negative charge? Well, all I'm going to do here to find those is I'm going to go look for all the negative signs. And ion A has a negative sign, and ion C has a negative sign, and ion E have a negative sign. Now I could have written the integers there, but I chose to write the letters because it didn't ask what the numbers were, it asked what the ions were. So that's why I chose that. If you chose to write -3 and -2 and -1, it's not a terrible idea, but you actually wrote the integers rather than the ions. Question B reads, which ions have charges that are opposites? So I'm going to go ahead and look at the table here, and I'm going to notice that -3 and +3 are the same digit, 3, but they're on opposite sides of the number line. So that means that A and D are opposite of each other. So I'm going to write A and D. And there's another answer. I'll switch colors here. I noticed that I didn't switch colors there. I can though. I noticed that +1 and -1 are also the same digits but on opposite sides of the number line. So that means that B and E are opposite each other. And then question C is the only one that's left. Question C reads, which ion's charge is not the opposite of another ion's charge? And that's going to be C, because while there's a -2, there is no +2, which would be its opposite. All right, let's move on. 13 through 18, the directions read, name the integer that meets the given description. That's a fancy way of saying write the number down that they're describing. So number 13 says the opposite of -17. Well, the opposite of that would be +17. Number 14 says 4 units to the left of 0. Now, if you've never thought about it this way, if you made a number line right here and you put 0 in the middle, the numbers that are to the left of 0 are negative. And if I go 4 units that way, it's going to be -4. Question 15, the opposite of the opposite of 2. Well, if that just said the opposite of 2, the answer would be -2. But then it says the opposite of that, which brings it back to +2. Number 16 is 15 units right of 0. Well, if we move to the right, we're moving in the positive direction, so 15 units to the right of 0 would be +15. And I realize that on number 13 I used the positive sign, and on the rest of them I'm choosing not to. And I'm just modeling for you that when you have a positive answer, you can choose whether or not you want to use the positive sign. It's not required. Question number 17, 12 units to the right of 0 is going to be +12. Number 18, the opposite of -19 is going to be +19. Okay, moving on. We're going to take some integers here and we're going to put them in a word problem. Number 19 reads, several wrestlers are trying to lose weight for a competition. Their change in weight since last week is shown in the chart. And notice that some of the numbers are negative and some of the numbers are positive. And we're talking about a change in weight. And so what we need you to recognize is that a negative number would be that they lost weight, and a positive number would mean that they gained weight. So question A reads, did Victor lose or gain weight since last week? Well, Victor's number is 6, and it's a positive number, so I can conclude that he gained weight since last week. I'm going to put gained. Question B reads, which wrestler's weight change is the opposite of Ramsey's? We'll go find Ramsey. Ramsey's right here. He's 2, and I'm trying to find the opposite of that. Well, the opposite of 2 would be -2, so the answer to B is Tino. I'm going to go ahead and erase this because it might confuse confuse me for my next question. Question C reads, which wrestlers have lost weight since last week? Notice they gave you a hint that we're looking for plural answers. We're looking for more than one. If you analyze the table, you see 2 negative numbers, which means Tino has lost weight, and Luis has lost weight. Question D. Frankie's weight change since last week was the opposite of Victor's. What was Frankie's weight change? What a lot of kids do is they look for this name Frankie on the table, and you don't see it. If you look, there's none of those kids are named Frankie. So we can assume Frankie's over here. But they gave you a clue, and that's what you have to recognize, is that the first line says Frankie's weight change was the opposite of Victor's. So what was Victor's? Victor's was 6, so what's Frankie's? Frankie's is going to be -6. That's the answer to D, -6. And question E. You kind of got to get D right in order to get E. Question E reads, Frankie's goal last week was to gain weight. Did he meet his goal? Explain. He did not meet his goal. I'm going to type this because it's a little bit neater. He did not meet his goal because -6 means that he lost 6 pounds. That's an explanation to it, and that is good enough. Okay, we will stop this video and we will resume the next video on page 12.